we'll start, of course, with Charlie, who is over in Sydney. He is going to move to the clue. Next, Charlie will test his influence and try to acquire some assets. So he's rolling 5 dice. He got 2 successes. His ally actually allows him to re-roll 1 die when resolving an influence test. So let's re-roll one of them. And we have a 3rd success. Charlie's going to actually go for a bank loan and get 2 more successes, which allows him to acquire the double-barreled shotgun. He's going to equip that, and he's going to gain a debt condition. But before we do that, let's refill the reserve, and we have a pocket watch. All right, here's his new debt condition. Jacqueline, she's going to prepare for travel first by gaining a ship ticket, but by doing so, because you can only have maximum 2 tickets, she's going to discard her train ticket and keep the 2 ship tickets. And then she's going to move 1 and then spend her 2 ship tickets to move again 2, 3 into space number 7. For encounters, Charlie is going to do a research encounter. We're going to draw one of these and we're going to look at the sea space. You overhear the navigators say that the stars are not as they should be. The ship is utterly lost. You believe you understand the significance of the new alignment of star test lore. If you pass, gain the clue and 1 additional clue. If you fail, you become delayed. Well, the politician's lore isn't very good. It's a 2. And apparently, you cannot judge a book by its cover. The politician is very good at reading the stars, and he has 2 successes. So he successfully acquires the clue. Charlie is going to place the clue on the mystery card. Over here for Jacqueline, she's going to see what she encounters in a city near the Amazon. The police ask for your help investigating a series of ritual killings. The grisly crime scene threatened to overwhelm you with chills and nausea. Tests will. If you pass, you manage to examine the scene and find significant information. Spawn 1 clue. If you fail, you cannot endure the horror and lose 2 sanity. Let's see whether Jacqueline has enough will to overcome the horrors. She rolls 3 dice for will. And unfortunately, she does not overcome the horror. She is overcome with nausea and chills. As a result, she is going to lose 2 sanity. Mythos. Omen track, Reckoning effect, and Spawn gate. For Reckoning effect, let's look at the monsters first. We have this guy here, and it says each investigator on the space loses 1 health, but we don't have to worry about that because nobody's on that space. The zombie here, it says discard this monster and spawn the zombie horde epic monster on the space. Sydney is pretty dangerous now with the zombie horde, which has a toughness of 5, and it has a reckoning effect which advances doom. We also have this Mythos card, which makes us remove all of the Africa cards from this deck. So these are... And the next expedition is in Tunguska up here. We only have 3 expedition types left. And again, if we run out of cards, we lose the game. Charlie has a reckoning effect here, which tells him to flip his dead condition over. And it says, a man wears a hat and a brown trench coat. We do not want money, he hisses and grabs your throat. You feel as part of your identity is being stolen from you. Test will. If you fail, a fragment of your soul is ripped away. Lose 3 sanity. Then discard. So let's test our will. It's not very good. It's only 2. And look at that. 5 and 6. Again, you cannot judge Charlie by his looks. Apparently, he is a very strong-willed man, in addition to having a lot of knowledge. Lastly, we spawn the gate in Arkham. And the monster is a ghoul. 5 gates on the board. You wake up in mid-scream and your heart is racing. What little you remember from your nightmare was so visceral and horrific that you dread falling back asleep. Haunting nightmares. Event. Each investigator loses 2 sanity and gains a madness condition unless he spends 1 clue. So Charlie is going to lose 2 sanity and gain a madness condition. But Jacqueline is going to spend the clue. And her passive ability is when another investigator gains a non-common condition, which counts, hallucinations, she's going to gain a clue. So she's going to gain 1 clue back. New turn. Let's see what to do with Charlie. Charlie is going to move to the city, and his second action, he's going to rest. Charlie's second action, he will rest, regaining 1 health and 1 sanity. Jacqueline will prepare to travel by getting a ship ticket. She will move 1 and then spend the ship ticket to move to the clue. Alright, encounter. Let's see what Charlie finds in this space. We're in a city. Legends say that this cemetery is haunted. Exploring the headstones, you encounter an angry specter eager to share his story. The experience is nerve-wracking, but you try to listen. Test will. If you pass, the spirit gracefully fades from view. Recover 2 sanity. If you fail, his desperate voice echoes in your mind. Gain a paranoia condition. Ooh. Test will. Again, his will is not very good. It's only a 2. But Charlie has an ally, and his urban guide allows him to roll an additional die when resolving tests. So he is in the city space and he is eligible, and he can roll 1 additional die, which means he rolls 3 dice for his will check. And we have a success. So we are okay. The spirit fades from view and we recover 2 sanity. We're back to our max. Jacqueline, she is on the clue spot, so she will get a research encounter card. And she is at sea. You dream of floating through space, watching stars disappear. You try to recognize constellations, so you'll remember which star disappeared. Test observation. If you pass, gain this clue and move the omen to any space of the track without advancing doom. Good, there's no fail condition. That's not bad. Let's test our observation, which is a 3. Let's go, Jacqueline. And there you have it, 5 and 6. She successfully gains this clue, and she can put it on the mystery. So as part of that, we get to move the omen track to any space we want. I'm going to move it to this symbol. And the reason why, it's because when we next advance the omen, it's going to go to the green space. And if we have a monster surge, there's only 1 gate on the board that has the green space, but there are 2 gates on the board with the constellation symbol and this other symbol, which means if a monster surge comes, the symbol with the least gates on the board would be the green one, and we wouldn't have to spawn as many monsters. The ends the encounters. Let's see our Mythos card. We have the Omen Track, Monster Surge, and a clue. First, we will move the Omen Track. Then we'll have a Monster Surge in the gates that have the green symbol. That would be San Francisco. So let's grab a monster from the bag. We have a Dark Young. Ooh, tough monster. Then we spawn a clue. Space 15. You compared the picture in the magazine to the drawing on the old tattered map. It was definitely a match, but what could be so valuable that it required so much secrecy? And why was that particular point on the map marked with blood? Heart of Corruption. The lead investigator gains 1 artifact, then rolls 1 die. On a 1 or 2, he loses 2 health and 2 sanity. Alright, let's grab our artifact. We have the Ruby of Rye. Let's roll 1 die to see whether we lose the sanity. And on a 1 or 2, so we do not lose health and sanity. And that's the end of the Mythos phase. Looking at the mystery, it says if there are clues on this card equal to a number of investigators, and there are 2 clues, solve the mystery. And that would be our 3rd mystery solved. And with that, the game is victorious because the win condition is to have solved 3 mysteries. You may think that the game wasn't particularly hard, but I have to say we had quite a bit of luck with the rolls, and the rumors weren't so bad that we had to go and resolve them to take care of them. So I pretty much ignored all the gates, all the monsters, and even the expedition and the rumors, and just went straight for the clues, the objective of the mysteries, essentially. But there are definitely mysteries and other ancient ones where you probably cannot do that. So I think it was just a matter of luck and the good synergies between Jacqueline and Charlie, particularly Jacqueline's ability to let her give clues freely between investigators, and Charlie's ability to acquire assets and give it to the other player. So I think these two really worked well together in this game. My only complaint was their health was pretty low, 4 and 8, so I had to do quite a bit of resting to ensure that they weren't dying off. Now, dying is actually not a bad thing in Eldritch. You basically take the possessions, take all the cards off the table on the side. The character is going to lie on the side. Another character can go to this defeated character to encounter with the defeated character and grab all the possessions and whatnot. So, and then of course the player controlling that investigator, he or she gets to choose a new investigator to play on the next turn. In a way, this could be very powerful to, let's say Charlie dies and Jacqueline is able to go to that spot and gain all of his cards. That would really boost up one single player if she acquired all of his possessions and weapons and allies. So dying is not frightening in Eldritch Horror. Another huge difference from Arkham was the fact that you didn't have to test whether you can sneak by monsters. In Arkham, when you left a location with the monster, you have to see whether you successfully sneak past the monster. This was not the case. It almost made defeating monsters less important, I think, because if you didn't need to go to that location, the monsters aren't going to move anywhere, they're just going to stay there, and I didn't really need to go and kill off any of the monsters. I think Eldritch Horror was streamlined. I feel like the game was short enough for me to get that Cthulhu fix. Arkham, I feel, is a fuller experience, not necessarily deeper, but there are definitely more things to do and more things to consider when you're moving around the board. I think to get that storytelling thematic gaming experience, this would be a quick game that I can go to. And Arkham would be something I have to set more time aside to play. I'm rambling, so I'm going to stop there. Let me know in the comments what your preference is. Is it Arkham Horror or Eldritch Horror? Should I be trying out any of the Eldritch expansions? Is that going to make it more like Arkham, or does that defeat the purpose of it being a more streamlined version of Arkham? Let me know what you think, and see you guys in my next playthrough.